Now we're live. Hey, a quick question for all of you before we start. When was the last time someone looked at your roof? Not after the storm, not because you had a leak, just looked at it proactively. So if you owned your home for more than 5 years and you're anywhere here, not just in the RGV, but here in South Texas, that answer probably makes you a little uncomfortable. And that's exactly why we made this tonight's episode. So stay with us. Good evening, everyone. South Texas. Hasta la vista. No, sorry about that. I'm just having fun here. Welcome to the Steel Country Home Restorations Podcast. And I'm your host, Doc Vince. And tonight we're speaking directly to all of you, the homeowners who has been in their house for more than 5 years. I guess that's the 5, 15 or more. You built equity in this home, you've maintained it, and you've been through seasons. But here's the thing: storm season in South Texas is unlike anywhere else. And we're going to talk more about that. It's anywhere else in the country. Unless Canada will be the 51st state, then that would be a different story. Anyway, March to October, heat, humidity, high winds, and hail that can show up without warning. And most homeowners don't have a roof problem until suddenly they do. And tonight I'm joined by uh, the CEO of Steel Country, Mann Carter. And Man and his team have been restoring homes right here in South Texas for the longest time. And they operate under a philosophy that sets them apart. They're not just contractors, they're home care consultants. Man, welcome to our podcast.
Hey, how you doing, Doc? Vince, good to see you, man. Thank you for the warm welcome. That was quite an introduction there.
It's because I got a gift from you now
Yeah,
that got me oiled up and so excited. Now let's do this like storm season. Why now? Let me paint a picture for our listeners. A homeowner here in the valley, maybe they've been in their house more than 8 years or 10 years, and the house looks fine.
hmm
Now there's no leaks, no staining, ceiling stainings, nothing obvious, but storm season is here. And we talked about this like a couple days ago. Why should that specific homeowner pick up the phone and call roofers or call Steel Country right now, even if they're not seeing a single problem?
It's really simple. Two words:
Mhm.
preventative maintenance. Another two words: insurance premiums. So, with the rise of insurance premiums going up and deductibles going up, it's very important that homeowners are proactive regarding their roof care.
Mm.
And once a roof, depending on the style of the shingle, once a roof reaches a certain age, it's always good to have it checked at least once a year. You don't drive your car the whole year without taking it in for an oil change and a tire rotation. Why then would you get beyond 8 to 10 years of living in one of the biggest investments you'll ever make, which is your house, and never pay any attention to the roof? See it every day.
Now, what's the duration? Like a minimum of 5 years, you should have an inspection, or what?
A good rule of thumb: anything over 3 years, as long as you're outside of the storm windows, anything over 3 years, you definitely want to make sure you have it checked. Once you start getting up into 10, 15, 20, 25 years, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and get the roof replaced. In my experience over the last 5 years of working in the industry, what I've seen here, particularly in San Antonio, is that most of the houses are underventilated, which causes a premature aging of the shingles. The
Mm.
attic, the heat will always rise. It rises to the crest of the roof. In most places, it's the ridge. And if the roof is not properly ventilated, it's going to cause blistering. The shingles cook from underneath and they'll fall off once we get a lot of heavy rains. And that then causes premature aging of the roof system.
Let's go to the storm season.
Mhm.
Premium insurance. Maybe you could expound more on that.
A little bit more. What's the question?
Like a little bit more about the correlation of prime insurance and preparing for storm season.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, I'll say this. lightly. Insurance is for business, is for profit, as most businesses are, and basically when homeowners do not call in and take care of the roof or make a claim within a reasonable window, then the insurance company gets to collect that premium. Now, over the course of say 20 years, 30 years, if you've never called in a claim or never had your roof inspected, then that's 25 to 30 years of premiums that you've paid the insurance, and so you pay the
Mm.
roof probably 2 to 3 times.
Mm. Now, um, I don't know how to put this, but there's a lot of roofers, like roofers drive up. They
Yes.
throw ladders against the house, walk around for 10, 15 minutes, and hand you a quote. Walk us
Mhm.
through what Steel Country actually does from the first phone call all the way through. I did see a 12-step process. So,
Mhm.
what does a owner experience when they call Steel Country?
That's a great question, and I'd love to tackle that one with a do's and don'ts. I always tell my homeowners, first of all, let me just kind of roll it back, right? We should never be in the business of selling a roof, right? Meaning, to me, the homeowner doesn't know you. Right off the bat, you want to make sure that you're going to the home with the best intentions. And if a homeowner doesn't need a roof, then you shouldn't be there trying to push something that they don't need. So for us, I know the big thing for us is we want to interview the homeowner the moment we get to the door. We want to make sure that we verify that we're at the right address. We want to make sure that we're speaking to the point of contact. And then we go through a series of questions, right? We ask the age of the roof. We verify that the homeowner has insurance. We ask them if there's any leaks in the interior. We ask them if they've seen any shingles out on the ground. And then one of the main questions we ask them is, are they okay with moving forward if we find damage? So we want to make sure that we have a really good conversation with them. Another thing that we do that's a little unique is that we have a conversation with them about their deck page, and we ask them to pull the deck page so that way we can verify with them that they actually have insurance. And then we kind of, we mention the deductible, and that kind of like as a way to kind of plant the seed that, hey, we're here to help you. We're here to make sure that the insurance company does what they're supposed to do. And at the end of the day, your only out-of-pocket expense is going to be your deductible minus any woodwork or any extra trades or upgrades you ask for.
My mic is off. Sorry about that.
Yes, okay. You're good.
But what I was about to say, or what I said was, your company makes sure that when you leave the client, you will have covered all the possible questions, and they
Oh,
could
yeah.
get more value coming out from you, so that after that there will be no undisclosed or surprise for them when
Right.
the code is coming out. Now let's talk about should I say money for a second. Deductibles,
Mhm.
you did mention about that, and they're going up. Insurance companies are getting tighter.
Mhm. Mhm.
And some of our listeners are sitting on 3 or 4% deductible on a 250,000 or even 300,000 homes.
Mhm.
That's around maybe 7.5 or 12,000 out of pocket every time they file. So
Mhm.
tell us how class 3 and class
That's
4
mhm.
impact resistant shingles and
Mhm.
upgrades like I don't know if I got this right. The Gold Pledge warranty actually
Mhm.
protect a home owner financially over the long haul.
Right. Right. Okay. So the system's warranties, which would be with the manufacturer warranty is going to be totally separate thing than the insurance premium. So the insurance premium is on this side of the fence. The manufacturer warranty is on the other side of the fence. So when we go in, as a matter of fact, there's a story. I just met with a homeowner about a week ago. He had a 3% deductible. His deductible was about $8,000. The roof was 13. So he's paying more for his deductible than insurance is actually paying out on the claim.
Wow.
That's a bad policy. It happens. When we come in, we want to verify with the homeowner that they understand their deductible. Again, at the end of the day, I always explain to the homeowner it's kind of like a teeter totter, right? If you have a high deductible, you've got a low monthly premium. If you take a higher monthly premium, you're going to have a lower deductible. You want to try to make sure that you balance that out. And as far as, getting the roof done, over the last 4 years, I've done probably over 150 houses. And one of the things I try to mention to the homeowner is to make sure that they're in good standing with the insurance carrier. So at the end of the day, we want to follow scope of work, make sure that we turn in completion photos at the end, a certificate of completion, and show proof that the deductible was paid. Because in the event in the future they ever have to open up another claim, we want to make sure that they pay out their depreciation and they don't hold back depreciation. That's the main thing. It's just explaining to them to make sure that they understand how the insurance works. That's after our interview process. That's our next conversation. If we find damage on the roof, we come down, we have that conversation with them, and we make sure that we drill that in, that we're going to follow the scope of work as outlined by the insurance process to make sure that they're protected, and also it holds us accountable. I like to put all the cards out on the table.
Talking about the ventilation, you did mention that a while ago, which is I've read about it. It's a hidden killer in South Texas, especially with what I guess the heat here is like. We got 3 digits during the summer, and you mentioned something that stopped me really in my tracks. You said you did mention on one of our conversations, I guess, that 95% of roofing systems that you inspect in this region are under ventilated, like a
Yes,
few
sir.
minutes ago. And for someone listening tonight who has no idea what ventilation has to do with their roof, maybe you could break it down more. Why is this such a massive problem, specifically here in South Texas, RGV, and what happens when you got this fixed?
A lot of it is going to be, and again, I'm just explaining what I come across every day. I'm not here to decimate or destroy anybody's business, right? But a lot of it starts with the building process, right? So they're building so many homes so fast, and a lot of these homes are tract homes, and the materials that they use for the roofs are what we call builder grade. That's why when you come into San Antonio or you come to some of these markets, all the houses, they look pretty much similar. They're coming in with a 25-year 3-tap shingle. They're coming in with hardy decking on the sides, hardy decking on the chimneys, very basic components inside the house. Framers are in and out, generally very quick. They slap the houses together, and everything is built with budget in mind, not what manufacturer specification calls for. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I do realize sometimes the carpentry work is, it's not that good because there's a deadline, there's a
Yeah.
timeline. You got to finish this, you got to finish this. And especially during when I guess the interest rate
Yep.
were about to change. That's the
Yep.
time that the builders would say, "Oh, you got to do this fast, like
Yeah.
right away." Now, here's one of the things that I see here in South Texas, most common, that it's like there's something missing. And let's talk about this. That most homeowners don't connect to their roof,
Mhm.
their foundation, and you've told me about another service that you're gonna have, the gutters.
Yes.
Now, it's now included in every estimate moving forward. So for a homeowner
Yes.
sitting here, San Antonio, here, or McAllen or Mission,
Mhm. Mhm.
tonight who thinks gutter are just about keeping the rainwater off their head, maybe you could
Mhm.
explain why proper water management is actually what it is actually
That's what
about.
it's called, water
And
management.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
protecting one of the most expensive parts of their home. So it's not just the roof,
Mhm.
but also the foundation. And I see your pictures in company cam, like there are cracks in the foundation. So maybe you could explain to our viewers more about that.
Yes, that's great. Great question. Again, we're big on education. So when we come to the house again, we're looking at everything from the grass to the siding to the drip edge to the roof. We're looking at everything because, not generally speaking, one problem can create multiple problems, right? So if let's say we're there for the roof, instead of hopping on the roof, the first thing we do is we go in the attic. We're going to perform an attic inspection, right? And then when we get up there, we're going to do a temperature check to see if the ventilation is good, or if the ventilation is bad. When we come out and we start our walk around the house, now we're looking at the foundation up to the roof. And like you saw in some of the photos, probably in company cam, one of the things I do, and this is something I just kind of came up with my own, because I started to see a pattern every time I walk the property. I would see soil erosion. And then along the base of the soil, you could see where the soil was, and then you could see a drop, like, water came out of a fish tank. So what I do now is I'll take my tape measure and I'll drop it on the bottom of the foundation of where the soil was. And then I take a picture, boom, showing the depth of how much soil erosion has happened. I was just at a house yesterday, and they've only been in the house for a year, and they've already dropped 4 inches of soil from the foundation of the house. And it's gradual, right? But you don't pay attention to it. But I told them, I said, you guys need gutters. You need to get this taken care of. So again, but we're not pushy. I believe in presenting the information. I would say this to my homeowners. I go, money is a process. It's a part of what we do, but we don't do things for money, meaning like we have to have money to survive, right? We got to take care of you. And in that process of taking care of you, we're going to make sure that we eat as well. And we want to get you a good price and take care of you. And it's not a sale. If you see value in what we're doing, then, we'd love to earn your business. So it's a very good approach.
I see that problem on erosion, mostly not just on the foundations of the house, but on the driveway. That's very common, wherein the driveway starts to crack on the side, and then slowly it's like, oh, why is there a hole here? Now
Yes.
there's a bullfrog living in underneath.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things, right? I don't know if I diagnosed it right.
Oh, absolutely. So back to your question. Yes, we are offering gutters now, 6-inch standing seam gutters. Very rarely will we ever put 5, but majority of the time we're doing 6-inch, and we can also do box gutters, commercial. We can also do the raindrops. We do those as well. I was actually out on a house yesterday, and the reason why I got the call was because the gentleman's sidewalk had dropped about 5 inches, and they had to have somebody come in and fill it in. And he's now getting cracks in the house and cracks up the walls. And I was like, yeah, I said, if you haven't had this checked, it's time to have somebody come out here and check your foundation. And it's good to have gutters, but it might be at that point where it may be too late. Again, it's going to depend on, where his foundation is. He's actually in the process of getting somebody out to take a look at the foundation.
Wow. And that would come out more expensive. Now, I really want to close this out on something you said that I think really crystallizes what makes Steel Country different. You said we are a home care consultant, not contractors. So those are two different things. And what does that actually mean for a homeowner who's sitting right now at home tonight, maybe still skeptical, and maybe had a bad experience with a contractor before? And I'm sure you do have clients like that, where when you take over, it's like, oh man, these people did something like this. So what does it mean when they call Steel Country? So home care consultants, not contractors.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's right. Great question. The biggest thing for me is that we are here to assist the homeowner. We are not here to push the homeowner. And at the end of the day, as a consultant, we're here to diagnose the problem and come with a solution and make sure that solution makes sense, and at the end of the day, it's the homeowner's home. We have to come in with the mindset that we are servants first, right? And we're not here to sell a product. We're here to solve a problem. And again, it's the opposite of what typically you see. A lot of individuals can be money driven. We are service driven. Money is a result. It's not a result of money is a result of what you do. Money shouldn't be the reason why you do it. I drill that into my reps all the time. So again, when you bring value, you bring content, you bring education, you bring awareness, and to me, you're credible. Nobody likes to be sold anything. Me personally, I tend to treat people the way I want to be treated. So when I'm dealing with a homeowner, I'm putting myself in that homeowner's shoes. and thinking if it was my house, would I want you to shoot me straight? Absolutely, I would want you to shoot me straight. So just shoot me straight. Tell me what I have so I know what I need to do and let me make up my own mind.
Final thoughts, message to our viewers, potential customers here in the Valley.
Yeah, biggest thing I can tell, I would say this just straight across from San Antonio to Austin to the lower RGV is pay attention when the storms come in. Don't be hesitant to reach out to the insurance company if you have a question about your premium. Always, always, always make sure every year if the storms come in, give us a call, 210-627-3105. Give us a call or look us up on our internet, on the internet, find our website. Sure, Doc will post that here and book an appointment. Have us come out and take a look at it for you. It doesn't cost you anything. And at the end of the day, always make sure that you are doing what's called a policy review with your insurance annually. Do not let the insurance companies auto renew you without you making sure what's in your policies actually in there. Check your premiums, check your deductibles, check your code coverages, and check your endorsements. Always, 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 always check every year. That's probably the one thing I see it bites a lot of homeowners. They pay the premium every month, they pay it every year, and they don't check it. And then they get something tied into their mortgage, it jumps up, and then they start freaking out. Or they call, they go exercise the policy, and they find something that's not in there that they thought was in there. They didn't read the fine print.
Awesome. All right, South Texas. I guess let's bring it home,
Lots
man.
of stuff. Yes, lots of stuff. But
Lots
hey,
of
we're
stuff.
here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
tonight
Yeah.
on your, I guess this is your podcast anyway.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Hey, I'm grateful to have you. Grateful to be here. It's been a while. We need to do this more often. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to continue to grow. And I appreciate you. You know, we wouldn't be here without you.
Hey, anytime.
Yes,
And I guess thank you for all the listeners right now. And thank you for your team. Still, I'm sure you're gonna share this to our little group chat so they could watch and learn something from it. To our listeners, don't wait for damage to become really obvious. Protect your home before the storm rolls in, and we'll see you on the next episode. We'll talk about that. What will be our next topic? But we will be looking forward for you guys. Take care of your home, and it's taking care of you. Ciao. Bye.
Good night. Thank you.